Hey everyone, this is Prince Watercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Superboy for the Sega Master System. In the last episode, we played through World 1, which was difficult near the end if you didn't know what to do. And now we're going through World 2, which is difficult in the middle. But before we take on World 2, it's time for another history lesson. Believe it or not, back in the 80s and 90s, there were video game consoles sold in South Korea. And while the consoles look familiar, the names of them are pretty different, and there's a reason why. And I'm going to use an article from Scanline16.com in order to explain this. I'll put it in the description for this video in case you guys want to read it. Gave me quite a bit of nice info, and, well, I thought it would be worth sharing. Anyway, here goes. After the end of World War II, South Korea banned Japanese cultural imports such as music, film, manga, and literature. The ban was partially lifted in 1998, and it wasn't fully lifted until 2004. During that ban, video games obviously started existing, and, well, there was a market for them. The thing is, Sega and Nintendo couldn't sell this stuff under their own names. They had to have South Korean electronic manufacturers sell it in their names for them so they could go through the embargo and sell their stuff in South Korea. Samsung would handle Sega stuff from the Master System all the way to the Dreamcast, while Hyundai would handle Nintendo's consoles from the NES all the way up to the N64. And of course, the names of the consoles were also changed. The Sega Genesis / Mega Drive was known as the Samsung Super Game Boy. The NES was known as the Hyundai Comboy. The Super Nintendo was known as the Super Comboy, also from Hyundai. And the Nintendo Game Boy, the handheld, was known as the Hyundai Mega Comboy, so as not to be confused with the Samsung Game Boy. Which is this thing? Yes, Game Boy was actually used first by Samsung in South Korea. It uses Japanese-style Master System cartridges. It looks pretty much like the actual Master System console, except one, there's a Samsung logo on it, and two, it says Game Boy Home Computer System. And then there is that controller. The buttons are obviously different. The controller looks nothing like a Master System controller from Japan or North America. And you can't really tell unless you've seen the commercials for the Game Boy, but there's a thing in the center where you could actually screw in and out this little joystick-like nub, which reminds me of the Pro-Line controller for the Atari 7800. And you could use that to move the control pad instead of actually putting your thumb on the actual buttons of the control pad like people were all used to back in the 80s and 90s. Stuff was obviously in Korean on the label, but because of the fragile relationship between Japan and South Korea, a lot of the ROMs were in English, and for some reason there wasn't any sort of attempt to translate stuff into Korean. They just wanted to put the stuff out there, and yeah. At least there's a slot for the 3D glasses, though. Not sure what's up with that. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. If you want to know more, you can just read through that article. But other than that, it's time to get on with the show. Alright, it's time for World 2. World 2-1 is pretty simple compared to World 1-4. I can just make all these huge jumps all day. And it's pretty easy to just avoid everything. I'm going for the coin simply because I can. You never know. Also, I managed to get the mushroom again. So there's really not much to say about World 2-1. It's a very easy stage to get through. As long as you don't get hit through here, you should be fine. And thankfully, that's pretty easy to pull off. Just watch out when you try to get onto this platform and when you try to jump your way to the end here. And World 2-2. This is where it starts to get nuts. Because as soon as you start jumping through these platforms, that's where all the Cheep Cheeps start showing up. Be sure to wait for all of these Cheep Cheeps to get out of your way before you go to the next solid platform. Also, I'm pulling off a rather interesting glitch here. When you jump on an enemy and you continue to hold the jump button, which is the 1 button, at the top of your jump off an enemy, if you keep holding down the jump button, you'll go further into the air. You'll actually go even higher than normal. Like so. And it not only makes World 2-2 easier, it also does wonders for World 2-3 as well. This is quite possibly the hardest part of the entire World 2. Because you basically have to wait for enemies to get out of your way. And that's easier said than done, because not only are the coin boxes, the little question mark boxes, considered solid objects, but so are the coins themselves, as I mentioned in the last video. And the Koopas are even worse than the Cheep Cheeps, because, well, they'll bounce right off the coins, and you have to anticipate when they're going to reach your level so you can jump on them. On those 3 platforms, you definitely want to take short jumps. Also, do not go to that platform at the very bottom. If you do, you're probably going to get killed off by one of the Cheep Cheeps that rises from the bottom of the screen. You want to use your jump to go all the way to the stairs here. Remember, as long as you hold the button down until you basically go as high up as you can, you won't prematurely end your jump. As soon as you let go of the 1 button, you immediately hit your apex, supposedly, and you immediately start dropping. And that's kind of dumb, to be honest. I mean, who programs jumps like that? As for World 2-4, it's really easy to get through, as long as you just run straight through the falling platform bits, the little donut platforms, and you're able to jump over Bowser. Don't let him go to the left, otherwise you'll see him respawn as soon as you go further to the right, and then you'll have to try again at jumping over him. And that's basically it for World 2. Join me next time where I jump into World 3. Thankfully, it gets a little easier with World 3. Until then, this is Prince Watercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!